Emily never expected the pizza box to change her life. It was just a routine order from her favorite joint, Nick's Pizzeria. She'd been feeling melancholy, a lingering sadness since her father's untimely death. She needed comfort, and in her mind, nothing said comfort like a hot, cheesy pizza. What she received instead was a slip of paper tucked under the pizza, its edges charred, and its surface stained with grease. It read, "Help." Emily shivered, but reasoned it was probably a prank. She tossed it aside and tried to enjoy her dinner. Later that night, she awoke to the sound of her father's old record player. The crackly hum of blues tunes filled the hallway, followed by soft creaking sounds, as if the house itself were groaning in pain. Sleep-fogged and wide-eyed, she approached the player. The needle seemed to glide on its own. There was no record on it. The slip of paper flashed into her mind. She retrieved it and stared at the word, "Help." What if it wasn't a joke? The next day, Emily returned to Nick's Pizzeria. The atmosphere felt different. The usual jovial vibes were overshadowed by an eerie silence. She noticed an old photograph hanging crookedly on the wall. It was a black and white image of a young couple standing in front of the pizzeria, or rather where it now stood. She recognized the face of the woman instantly. It was the same face that had been haunting her dreams since childhood. "Excuse me," she asked the cashier nervously. "Who are these people?" The cashier, a grizzled man whose name tag read Bob, glanced at the photo, his expression darkening. "That there is Nick and his wife, Nora. They founded this place, 50 years ago, I reckon. But it's an old story. Nora vanished shortly after they opened, and nobody's seen Nick in decades." Unease twisted in Emily's gut. She had to find out more. She approached a local historian who explained that Nick became obsessed with trying to communicate with Nora, who supposedly disappeared into thin air. His obsession had consumed him and raised questions among the townsfolk. Emily returned home and examined the slip of paper again. She realized that it wasn't just grease that stained the edge, it was dried blood. Emily decided to dig deeper. She found herself drawn to the attic she rarely visited. Dusty boxes lay in abandoned corners, relics of her father's past. She rummaged through stacks of old newspapers, finding articles about Nick and Nora's pizzeria and the mystery surrounding her own house. Apparently, Nick and Emily's father had been friends, bonded by their shared anguish of lost loved ones. The record player started again. This time, it played the blues tune slower, a dirge. The groans of the house grew louder, almost like whispers beckoning her. "Unfinished business," one whisper hissed. With trembling hands, Emily reached inside the pockets of an old jacket she found in the attic. There, another note, identical to the one in the pizza box, crumpled and folded, read, "Help her." Finally, Emily understood. She knew what she had to do. Standing in the center of the attic, she listened to the whispers, deciphering their story. Both Nick and her father had dabbled in the occult to communicate with their lost loved ones. They had uncovered truths that trapped their souls in torment. Emily whispered into the void, pledging to help Nora and to release her father's spirit. At once, the temperature plummeted and the whispers crescendoed into a ghostly howl. Emily's vision blurred as she felt the weight of unfulfilled promises lift from the walls of the house. When the chaos stilled, everything fell silent. Emily's home felt lighter, her heart understanding.